What's the deal, my people? You know what it is. Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you. Another one, and this one is The Last of Us Season 2. Finally, took a while for it to get here. I knew everybody was looking forward to The Last of Us Season 2. We are back. I will be back here every Sunday, trying to get it popping with all y'all and stuff like that. Hope y'all having a good time. Hopefully we get a good crowd and everything else. Hopefully my microphone is on the right audio. Let's make sure real quick. Yes, it is. All right. So now I know my good mic is on and everything else. We're here to get it popping with The Last of Us Season 2. And I will be rocking solo dolo right now. Phil the Issues Guy will be after show. So when the show is over, make sure you check out Phil the Issues Guy on the Phil the Issues Guy channel. He'll be there with Joe Dirty Locks. So make sure you're there. He'll join on a couple of pre-game streams. And I will be over there too when it's all said and done. But right now, the Don is going to ride solo dolo on this one myself. So let's say what up to a couple of people who are here right now. Well, maybe I'm not solo dolo. Let's say what up to a couple of people here right now. Amy is in the building, rocking with us right now. We got Sonic, your boy, is in here. Phil, that's you, right?
Yeah.
Phil is here. He'll be here rocking with us right in a little bit. Sonic, your boy, is in here. Hayes is in here. Haley is in here. My bad. We got Sylvance is in the building. Isis Blue is up in there. My man John Haymaker, as always, is here rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Truly appreciate it. You got Tony is in the building rocking with us. My man KP, as always, is in the building rocking with us. You know what I mean? Thank you all for coming and rocking. We got It's a Small World in here. We got Tony JC up in here. We got a bunch of people, man. A bunch of people and stuff like that. Phil will be on camera soon enough.
Yeah, I'll be here. I'm can't stay for the whole time, but I did want to pop in for a little while, and I'll be popping in during the pre-shows when I can. I just need to take a work ride at like 8-ish or something like that. So I got to run before I start everything else. But I'll be trying to pop in and join you on these pre-shows when I can, when I'm not too retired or some shit like that. But yeah, it's exciting, Tony, to finally be back. I don't know if we're not going to talk any game spoilers here, right? This is an even playing field, right? Just so I know for sure not to say anything I shouldn't say. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting season, and I'm very curious to see what direction it goes, because we can just say that the second game wasn't as universally, the story wasn't as universally as accepted as the first game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, Tony. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, 100%. You know, when we look at The Last of Us and take it as and realistically, let's do a realistic situation. If we take away the gay relationship scene, which did happen in the video games, but not as in detail, take that out of it. Was the show a great show? Because I think a lot of the critics that gave it a great show was because of that episode. I think that episode was very revered for the critics and everything else, more than the actual season itself. You know, I thought it was a good season. I didn't think it was a truly great season as it could have been. They got a lot of things right, and they used shots right from the video game, which was what you got to do. But when I overall look at some of the things and how they pulled it off, it wasn't exactly as thrilled as most people are. What do you think?
Do you know what really ruined the season for me, Tony? I'm not ashamed to say it. It was Shauna. Shauna did it too. It's always fucking Shauna. And people that don't watch Yellow Jackets. But I thought, I hadn't really played the game. I'd watched some people play the game. Joe is a huge fan of the game. I know you're a huge fan of the game series, and really kind of did that. For watching it, for me, I thought it was pretty good. You know, I wouldn't say it was on the level of some of those top crazy HBO shows that you can just, you know, like The Wire, The Sopranos, early Game of Thrones, Boardwalk Empire, 6 Feet Under, like that kind of level. But it was a good, you know, it was a good show. I do think that one episode was so critically acclaimed that I see what you're saying. It sort of brought up everything going forward. And I don't know. I do think there's several ways we can look at this though, Tony. Like, when it comes to video game adaptations from game to screen, it's not if we're competing in that sort of pool, if that's the tournament that this is in, it's kicking a lot of people's ass. There's not a lot of, there's other ones people could say, oh, the Mortal Kombat movie's not bad. The Street Fighter movie's not bad. Oh, the Tomb Raider movies are okay. But like, this is actually, the Super Mario Brothers movie is a good, and I mean the second one, not the first one. Is a good representation of the video game. I mean, having played the game, besides this just being top flight entertainment, Tony, as a gamer, someone who enjoyed the storyline in the first game, is this one of the better representations video game to screen for you? Like on that level, or would you say,
And, absolutely. I think that this really kind of started the trend. And we see right now a lot of Hollywood is going to video games. They've done it before, but they did it ineffectively. I mean, Mortal Kombat is an entertaining thing. If you like, blood sports entertaining, it's not going to be acclaimed. Exactly. Resident Evil, the first one was good, but after that, it's a franchise. I can't say anything bad about it not being a franchise. They've had many Resident Evil movies, but it's not the game. It's never been the game. Mm-hmm. This is the closest thing we got from almost a true adaptation of the game to the screen, where they embraced it. So I think it took the time for comic books movies to embrace the actual comic itself. Let's put these guys in the costumes that they had in the comic books instead of having the X-Men in black leather, just because the Matrix was in black leather. So let's just follow that trend, right?
That's so true. And that's the exact reason why they did it too. And they had to throw in that line where, is it Wolverine that says, what'd you want me to, oh no, it was Cyclops. What'd you want us to wear? Bright spandex yellow or something like that, just to kind of rag on it. And it's like, no, you embrace that. You see what you can do with that, where maybe it wasn't a perfect movie, but look at Deadpool versus Wolverine. And I know, I'm not saying it wasn't fun. It was fun as hell, but look how cool the spoiler alert, you see Wolverine in the yellow costume from the comics, and it looks fucking cool. The mask and everything, he pulls it off. They pull it off on screen. It's the story. It's how well you do it. So to answer your overall question, Tony, I don't think this is up there with, Mindhunters and Severance and, like some of these shows that are out right now as like the top Shogun. But I do think it's very good. I think it's a very good, and I think it's an excellent video game representation, excellent from game to screen.
100%. Diane Lovato Blackwood from House Blackwood asks, hey, Tone, would I like the show without knowing anything about the game? Phil, what do you think? You think that people can just go into this right now, never playing the video game, and get the same experience, or do they need to play the video game?
I almost think you're better off. I mean, going into the first season, watching it, I was as naked as you could be, Tony. And sorry to make a few people go blind in the live chat right now, trying to think about that horrible sight. But I was going in there as blind as possible to not know what was going to happen. I knew kind of the finer points. It was a zombie thing, something to do with mushrooms, something to do with, these two people going from mission to mission. I knew kind of some of the beats, but then having seen the first season, I went and watched all the gameplay. I couldn't help but get spoiled for season 2, just because it's everywhere. Don't look stuff up. If you haven't watched this, don't look up this show. This is one of those shows and one of those stories that if you're going in this for the first time, yes, you can enjoy it. I think you can almost enjoy it more. Just avoid internet discourse on it. Avoid it at all costs until you know what happens, because there's a lot of energy for this particular thing, the show, the game, everything. This is one of those things. Don't go tiptoeing through subreddits right now. It's not gonna do you well. That's all I'm saying. But yes, I do think, Tony, I think as a TV show, it might even benefit you more having never played the game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think you're better off not knowing anything about the video games whatsoever and just going into it blind. I think that will lead to different expectations. Like when you read a book and you watch a movie, you're looking for things. And the problem really with books and stuff, the problem with books is that when you read a book, everything that you see is what it's supposed to be in your mind's eye. So if you see a castle, the castle looks the way you want it to look. So when you see that adapted on TV, so wasn't what I was thinking, and you get jaded about it. The thing about this is that there are video games that show the world, that show things, that show the characters, that show, so people start saying this person's supposed to look like that, which is one of the reasons why people did not like Pedro Pascal as this role, because he looks nothing like the character from the video game. Yep. Now, Bella Ramsey, I would say, doesn't look like Ellie from the video game, but she does have that embrace that Ellie inside of her soul. So I would say without those expectations of people looking a certain way and looks a certain way is going to affect, and really affects one of my main issues with one of the main characters being introduced this season, because this character looks nothing like this person in the show. And I think that's a detriment to the character. I'll go into further details about that a little bit later and everything else. You know what I mean? But that's the way I see it. So I think you're better off going without it. And make sure you hit that thumbs up button when you come in. So we should, that way let's get spread out there. We got a bunch of people up in here. Our girl Carla Way from Down Under is in the building with us. I see my girl and my co-host for late night streams, Red Lipstick Club, Anna, the beautiful Anna's in the building rocking with us too, and everything else. And all that good stuff. So thank y'all for showing up. We have a bunch of people. Make sure you hit that thumbs up so more people can come in there. We'll be here every week right before the show. We'll go up until about 8:30. That way you have a half an hour to go get your chips and dips or run to the store and everything else. We'll keep you everything else and all that. Amy agrees. She says, I agree. Tony doesn't look anything like the character from the game. No, it doesn't. And I think that it's gonna, when she gets introduced this season, and we've seen her in the clips, I think it's detrimental to the show that they didn't cast her. And I can understand why they didn't cast her to be that look, but in the end, it hurts that character. And I think that that's something that these shows need to get right. They need to follow the script. Don't think outside the box. Just follow the script 100% and all that. All right. That being said, we also did get introduced to all the infected and everything else like that, the clickers and the bloated. Do you think they gave up a little bit too much? Like maybe they need to do the bloater and just stuck with the clickers first season? Because now you're thinking about how many different of these infected are they going to introduce? And do you like the fact that I think they're going back to spores, but they didn't do the spores in season 1. So in the video game, it's the spores that turn you into this. And in the video game, a lot of the times you go into these infected areas, you have to wear a gas mask so you don't get infected by the spores. But they didn't want to have them with the mask on all the time. I think that hurt the first season, because I think you need to show the perils of it, right? You need to show, even if you want to see Pedro Pascal's face all the time, so what? This is the world they're living in. If you want to make it realistic to this world, you don't get rid of something that infects people just because you want to see an actor's face. What do you think about that?
Tony, I think they should embrace it and make his gas mask look like the Mandalorian mask. Jeff walk around over there. I mean, he pulls it off in another show, put a damn mask on the guy. That was one of those things that I wasn't aware of going into the season, and Joe kept talking about, like, saying that exact thing that you say. They're not wearing a mask, the spores, they changed this here, not enough bloaters here, this, that, another thing. I think they wanted to try to probably keep it simple, and they didn't want to get their moneymaker, Pedro Pascal's face, off the screen. They didn't have the balls to do it. So they sort of wanted to change that for television. But having heard it from you now and hear it from Joe back then and read a little bit more about how the game works like that, I do feel like you took away some of the drama, some of the fear factor, no pun intended, for the television show. Some of that fear that came across in it. As for introducing the different kinds of the clickers, the bloaters, we if I remember correctly, we barely saw like one bloater, but we really didn't get into the whole bloater thing in season 1. People can correct me if I'm wrong, but I did not go back and rewatch season 1, but I feel like we only saw bloater for a second. Yeah. So I don't mind each season focusing on the progression of that but I do feel like at a certain point in time, they need to make sure the biggest thing that any kind of zombie show needs to do, and From deals with it a little bit, but I think less so because it's less an environment versus the people kind of show, where it's, I don't want to get too much into From, but this show needs to make sure, because in the games, the creatures, the clickers, the zombies, whatever you want to call them, they're always a danger, Tony. And I don't ever want to see this show have them be an afterthought. I know it's always the people, it's always the thing, but these things need to be really, really dangerous and scary and scare you on screen. And I don't know if they always did that in season 1 for me. I could use more of that. I feel like it did towards the beginning of the season, and they got away from that a little bit as the season went on. And I want to get even more into it. So I want the bloaters to make a big deal this season when we get to them. You know?
Yeah, 100%. I don't want them to be an afterthought. Again, we can go to The Walking Dead, where they became like the Walking Dead. No one was scared of them. They're going out to the fence and they're looking at them and they're poking them with sticks and shit.
Yeah, they're playing Duck, Duck, Goose with them and shit too.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't want that. I don't want people riding on the backs of them and shit like that. Horses and shit. Like, I don't want none of that. I don't want that to be. I want these things to be the primary threat, and they need to stay consistent with them being the primary threat. And you don't need a huge horde of them to be the primary threat. That's the whole thing about these things. Just one of them could wipe out everybody if they really got in there and all that good stuff. So you really need to be able to keep that fear going and not make them a parody. And I'm confident. Hopefully they don't do it. We've all seen the trailers. We know that there's going to be a big horde that's going to rush against the fence at one point in there, and we know that. But I don't want it to just be the horde. I want it to be that if you see one of these things, your life is on the line. And the only way to do that is to eliminate people. You need to kill a lot of people by these things, and you need to show people getting killed and getting infected and getting taken out in order for these things to maintain the threat level that they are. It just cannot become a situation where these things, people over here, just hanging out, eating picnics, right? And they're outside the fence and they're right outside this thing. Can't have it. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than that. And hopefully everything is there. Phantom D Saints in the building. He says, true, Tony. It's similar to The Walking Dead, with the fear is more humanity than the infected. And I understand what they want to say. You know what I mean? That they're saying that, hey, these are the monsters we see, but the humans are the monsters that hide in plain sight. And I understand that concept, and I understand them wanting to do that. But in the end, you got to balance the two and do a really good job with it. You can never make these infected seem like a side piece. They always should be the main course about this whole thing and all that. That's the way I see it and everything else. So been dealing with season 1. Again, we do have a bunch of memorable scenes. And yes, the actress who plays Shauna should not have been in that role.
She was funny. She's funny.
And I don't want no jokes.
No,
I don't want either. I don't want jokes in apocalypse stuff. Now, I'm sure there's funny moments and funny times in life as always, but not when it comes to this shit. You know what I mean? I need shit to be like dire. Like all the time, people can be starving. When you leave the protection, you have a good chance of getting got. Not like you could sneak around, and they did sneak around and got around and did this. You got to have that get got. Like, listen, you love seeing the giraffe stick its head through the window and do all that. 100%. That's great. All right. I want to see a zombie giraffe, even though they can't infect them. But I want to see them all. I want to see more threats. And hopefully they raise the threat level this season when it's all said and done. That's what I hope for the most. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for your boys up in here and everything else. What are you looking forward to seeing mostly this season? Because they don't have scene with the I don't want to say the gay dudes and everything. I don't know how to say it politically correct. They don't have that type of moment in this show, like an episode based around something like that. They have some moments, but not like that.
But they have said that, for whatever it's worth, I don't know what exactly it's going to be yet. But I'm pretty sure I've read in a few places that episode 4 this season is another bottle episode. So it's another episode that it's going to focus on some character and sort of give you a whole story, create something else. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know what character it's going to be. I don't know what situation we're going to go down. But that apparently is episode 4, from what I've heard, is going to be the bottle episode of it all. I feel like the question that you asked, I have an answer, but I can't say it.
Yeah.
I would say it's a new character that I know is going to be introduced, and I'm very curious how they handle a lot of that, because in the game that character plays a very specific role in God, I feel like I feel like I can't talk about what I want to talk about, but it's hard. I feel like I'll talk a lot more about this next week or in the first two after the first couple of weeks. But basically, I want to see how we fuck with point of view. Like, are we going to be with Ellie and Joel and them the whole time, or are we going to switch to other characters' POVs and be in other characters and see their stories more like we did in season 1 in that episode, in that particular episode? We got away from Ellie and Joel's perspective and we became another character, watching that whole storyline.
Yeah, watching him live out in this apocalypse and everything and how they survived.
Exactly. Are they going to do that with some new characters that might be introduced? Possibly.
I think they have to, because in order for this character to be effective, in order for this character to hit, no pun intended, they need to give this character's background story, and they need to do it. So I'll say this without spoiling anything. So in the video game, you mostly play as Ellie and Joel. Those are the characters you play as. In the second game, they introduced a secondary character that you became able to play as that character who was not a part of Ellie and Joel.
Yes.
So when they bring that character in, I do believe they're going to have to do that storyline and show that character's backstory. That's what they tried to do in the video game. And that's what a lot of people didn't like in the video game, but that's what they tried to do. So I think it's very important for them to focus on this character. Now, how they actually do it and can they get people to care about the character is going to be the key of this whole season going forward and any other season going forward.
And if they're managing, and that's what I've heard. I heard this season the second game is split into 2 seasons, and season 3 has already been approved. Like it's already, so there's no, if it's going to happen, we've got 2 more seasons at least to tell this particular story of the second game. So to that point, Tony, I think there lies it. You just said it. This show can be really great if it can pull that off. If it can pull off really making us care about that character and making us care about that character as much as we care about Ellie and Joel. And if it can balance those 2 things, it's going to be a home run. I think it will be better than season 1. I'm curious what people's reactions are going to be to if they're going to do a good enough job making us care about that character. Part of that goes to what you were talking about earlier about that particular character in the game isn't a very realistic looking character in some ways, or it would have been tougher to cast. You might have had to cast, a specialty kind of athlete or something to look in the way that character looks, and they went in a different direction of casting. And does that affect your excitement for it, Tony, or your fear for if it's going to work out? Would you rather of them go to the WWE and cast someone, for instance, or
it's not believable that she commands the respect that she's going to the way that she looks. And I know that looks don't have a lot to do with respect, but in the culture that she's in, the people that she's working with, they respect power, they respect strength, they respect these things. And some things are just unbelievable. Like, all right, you want to have Gal Gadot play Wonder Woman, she doesn't have muscles. You want to have Linda Carter play Wonder Woman, she doesn't have muscles. Sure, that's fine because they're aliens, right? They're from outer space, so they can be genetically stronger without that. But when dealing with normal human beings that we are dealing with here, it's this unrealistic. And the backstory of why she became so strong and why she went to look like that is important.
Super.
Yeah. It's important why she looks like that. So you're taking all of that away. You're taking all that backstory already away from her, just from the person that you casted in this. And I think that's the biggest issue I have with this character going forward. I will not be able to believe everything that goes on with this person and everything else and all that good stuff.
Unless they change a lot. Unless they change a lot about her backstory, which wouldn't be as effective for the story that they told. And that's where we're getting into this slippery slope about where do you cast for looks or do you cast for talent? And I think they could have probably. I'm not gonna say anything about this actress before we're introduced and we see her on screen, because screen presence can create a lot of mystery that you couldn't imagine. Where you're like, oh my god, how can that?
We just seen it with the actress who plays Shauna in the show, who was she's supposed to be this military leader, and it was unbelievable. Listen, some people get typecast, right? And I'm not saying that woman is, but some people do. If you have a show right now and you have a military leader and they say, wait a second, the boss is coming out. Wait a second. And the boss comes around the corner and it's goddamn Cosmo Kramer, you ain't believing it.
Right. No, but if it's like Ed Harris or something like that, or that the dude with the where it has the cigar in his mouth. Hey, dude, we gotta get this. The military guys that you see. It's who they are. You need an airline pilot. You get Tom fucking Cruise.
If Sherman Helmsley walked out there and said Sherman Helmsley was the person that was the goddamn control of all this military, you'd be like, this motherfucker moved on down. He ain't moved up. Shit, it got worse for him and Weezy, right? There's stuff going on here.
Moving on down.
The first times, it don't work. You know what I mean? And I just think that's all about casting. And that's just the way it goes. You can't have Richie Cunningham, playing some tough drill sergeant. No one believing it. It's just not going to happen like that.
No one's listening to Opie Taylor like that. No one's. Nope.
And that's the problem I have with this character. How can that character actually do the job she's supposed to be able to do with the look that she has? We'll see. Now, again, we could take it another way, right? We looked at Arya Stark. We've seen Arya Stark in Game of Thrones as a child grow up, and when she grew up to be an assassin, we all believed it.
Scary.
When she grew up to be when she grew up to be this great sword fighter, we all believed it. We all believed it. But we had seasons with that character, and we all wanted to believe it because we wanted to see her kick some ass.
Yep.
Right. So that's a little bit different expectations than someone just being introduced, and this is what that person is. Then when we've seen someone's family get wrong, and we're cheering for them to kill people because we want them to get that good. You know what I mean? That's a whole different thing. And I don't know if they have enough time to do that with this character and get everyone up to speed, because we don't have those years spent with them. So I think that would be the biggest point of contention with them in this season. But we're going to find out sooner than later and everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely. And Anna, I was talking about that specific guy that's like in so many movies. He's like the bad guy and over the top. I forget the actor's name. He plays Feech LaMotta in The Sopranos. In every military movie, he's always running around with the cigar. He's like, get over there, get over there, get over there. He's like in Independence Day. He's in like pretty much every military movie like you could think of. But you always see the Sarge with that dude. I call him the Sarge with what the hell's that actor's name? I can look it up.
Oh, from going like it's Amy. It says I don't know why there are other streams from our community of content creators from are going live at the same time right now. Business is business, and this is YouTube, and people got to do things when they feel they need to do them and stuff, and people need to do streams at certain times, and no one, I guess, owns a time slot. So everyone is up to do whatever they want. I would look at it like that. So if people I've been doing this stream myself at this time since season 1. You can go back and look. So I'm just going and finishing what I'm doing. So I don't hold no ill will versus anybody or anything like that and everything else. And this is the YouTube game. This is the way it goes and stuff. But that's why you got to hit that thumbs up for your boys in here and let people know this is the #1 show for the fans, by the fans. And this is where they need to be, chilling out here, hanging out with us and everything else and all that good stuff. And we will have the phone line is open right now. If people do want to call in, you can call in. You don't just have to hear me and Phil talking. We want to hear from you. And the phone number is 5. We're going to use my phone line right now because I don't know how long Phil's going to be at.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
518-290-0848 is the number. 518-290-0848 is the number. It's on the crawl on the bottom. If you want to talk Last of Us, we are here to talk about that with you and everything else. You know what I mean? That is just the way it goes and stuff. All right, let's keep rolling with The Last of Us season 2. excited that it's about to come out. I can't wait to actually watch it. Do you think that this will be the number one show of 2025 when it comes down to viewing and rating ships we can't go through it. Let's just say for HBO. Like, will this outdo anything else coming to HBO? We have the Taylor Duncan eggs coming out next.
No. I think this is going to be really fucking good, but I think it's going to be divisive. Like, people are gonna either really like it or really hate it. I said this when we were sitting on one of those damn panels at the Con of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
I think Duncan Egg is made for television, and I think it should have been the first spinoff, and I think it's going to be the most successful Game of Thrones spinoff that happens after the main series, and it will happen. I think it will be the most successful one of all time. Personally, I could be wrong, but I have a feeling it's going to really hit really hard, and that's going to be sort of the most well-received. You're going to be, we're back to Westeros. This is the feel that it should be. You're going to see a bunch of art. This is fun. We're having fun in Westeros again. Oh my goodness. We're laughing. It's not a bunch of uptight Targaryen. Oh, maybe one uptight Targaryen, but it's not a bunch of uptight Targaryens. But I do think it will be up there in the discussion. I'm trying to think what else is coming for HBO this year. But I think it's going to be split right down the middle with this one, Tony. I think there are people going into this show that have already made decisions about it, and it's going to be in the mix of people talking about it. So it's not going to be as universally accepted as some other shows. It's dealing with a lot of baggage. There's a lot of baggage with this show.
I think that this season is going to divide people because we're in a world where there's a lot of, I would say, toxic reviewers and things, and if things aren't done certain ways, that they're going to discredit it. This is just going to give them reason to do that.
This is pure fuel.
It's going to give them 100% reason to do it. And in the end, I don't know if the people on the show will recover from what happens this season. And I think that's the biggest issue, that I don't know if the show itself can recover from it. I don't think the show itself, me personally, I don't believe the show itself can recover from it. I don't think the show will be as popular. I don't think people will be interested in watching it as they are now. But now, as for this season, compared to Dunkin' Egg, I think this has a built-in fan base.
Huge.
Already. So for that reason, I think it's going to get better ratings than Dunkin' Egg right off the bat and everything. Even though, Game of Thrones has, but House of the Dragon season 1, I think House of the Dragon season 2 may hurt Dunkin' Egg.
Oh, I definitely think it's going to hurt the audience. That's why I think it's going to be, from a reaction standpoint, I do think this show is going to have more of a buzz around it. People are going to be talking about it more. I guess what I'm hoping for with Dunkin' Egg is people are going in with low expectations and then be like, oh my God, this is a lot better than House of the Dragon season 2. That's the vibe I'm hoping people are going to have. But you're right. I mean, Game of Thrones also, or the Song of Ice and Fire world, has a lot of baggage too and when I'm not talking about the crazy fan, I'm talking about which one of these shows, because both these shows have great built-in, the game's probably even more right now, like a more active base. You're right. But both of them have their active base. Which one of these is going to sort of stimulate,
the casual person?
Yeah, the casual person. My cousin Emily. Which one's my cousin Emily going to turn and go, should I watch this show? Should I watch The Last of Us? Should I watch, like the average person that just tunes into the buzzy show of the, will only watch this kind of stuff if it's buzzy and whatever.
Yeah, I hear. So I'll do a Yellow Jacket stream tomorrow. How about that? So we'll do the finale of Yellow Jacket stream. I'll do that tomorrow. People say they want to talk about Yellow Jackets. We'll do a Yellow Jacket stream tomorrow to wrap up everything, and I'll give you my predictions for the future on that. So people who here want to talk Yellow Jackets, this is still the place to talk Yellow Jackets. We'll talk about that tomorrow. All right, I promise you, I'll jump on that and get that.
Can't wait to talk about that fucking. Oh my God.
Yeah, without a chat. But I can't wait to talk about this Yellow Jacket stuff. So
I will say I didn't love everything, but we'll get into it.
We'll get into all that tomorrow and everything else. We'll definitely take care of that. All right, so make sure you hit that thumbs up for your boys out there. Number one place for the fan by the fans, Teflon TV. Fill the issues guide right after, I do believe 15 to 20 minutes after the episode.
10:30, like 10:35, 10:30, 10:30.
Fill the issues guy, Joe Dirty Locks. They'll be on the Fill the Issues Guide channel. Make sure that you tune into there to watch that after show. It's going to be lit. Joe is Joe. I hope that it's good.
Me too. Joe doesn't stream much.
Have a heart attack.
Joe doesn't stream much. He comes out of retirement every once in a while. So let's see. He'll probably be streaming from his phone. He's gonna have some horrible audio. He's gonna die halfway through it if the show sucks. He's invested. So it'll be fun.
I just hope he doesn't have to have a heart attack. I really hope he does a great job. And they're on the right track. And I hope that no one is listening to this and saying that we're being negative about the show, because we're not. I'm just giving you my perspective on the show and realistic expectations. And this season, even when they took the show, I'm sure they knew that this was going to be a problematic season, whether it was going to make it or break it.
Fuck yeah.
And there's no way around it. It did it for the game, so it's going to do it for the show too.
I think he likes it. I mean, I think he wanted to do that for the game, and he wants to get a similar reaction with the show. I mean, it's going to be a lot easier to talk about this in midway through the season.
Yeah.
Or after the season. But like, I think he wants you to do that, put fucked up decision. Like, who do I root for in here? Who's the good guy? Who's not the good guy? So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be really exciting and everything else. Again, don't be shy to call in 518-290-0848, 518-290-0848. We are not going to bite, unless you ask, and you're a woman. But
yeah, we don't bite without permission.
Yes, 100%.
Not unless you're asking us to, and then we'll ask twice before we do it, because we want to make sure.
100%. I would say one thing that I can't say that is great about it and everything else. One thing that is great is you could say pause. And I said a woman. I said a woman specifically, so you got paused at 80. I would say that I do like the clickers. I love the way that they had the clickers. I love everything about them. The actors playing them. The movement was perfect. The sound was perfect. The prosthetics were perfect. They did a great job realizing them onto the screen. What did you think about those?
I absolutely feel the same way. They created something, that was legitimately horrifying. It almost, as someone that hadn't played the game, and that was my first experience with them. And I know someone earlier said they're not normal zombies. I know they're sort of undead, alive from fungus or whatever. I may refer to them as zombies sometimes.
I think it's best to refer to them as zombies, because even from the game, the parasite that actually does this in real life, that takes over the insects, the worm that goes inside the insect's brain and then pilots the insect's body around like it's a zombie until it eventually kills its host.
Okay,
it's the same thing.
Okay, so I can say zombie without feeling bad. Then. Okay,
yeah, it's a parasite that turns you into this type of parasite that turns you into this zombie type creature. So yes, it is a zombie made by a parasite, and they took it from real world stuff.
So, which is really cool that they put that like real world sci-fi situation into it. But what I think it's so effective, Tony. I think it creates this almost like aliens from the movie Aliens, duh. But like that feeling of just being overwhelmed. And I think you said something earlier where they did it, they just didn't do it enough. Almost like they were saving money to not do it enough. If you have one of these or one or two of these things stalking you, that's enough to kill. There's all those groups. Like, what if you took two bloodlusted Siberian tigers and put them against 100 people? Who would win that fight? But that's basically what you're in. You're in like a situation where you have like 10 to 15 people in one of these things, and it's hard to take them down. And I think they need to lean into that. And I think they've done a great job of creating a visual creature that displays that on screen really well. but we just don't get them enough. And I know less is more, but I think they did a great job, Tony. They're legitimately horrifying.
Yeah, when you're playing the video game and there's one in the room, you can die really fast. Like, you have to be almost perfect, whether you're sneaking up on them or sneaking around, or you're dead. And they really need to project that, I think, a little bit better in the show. And the brutality, I think. How did you feel? The game is brutal, and I think that's what's one of it. When it came out, it was probably one of the most brutally executed games next to God of War of stuff. I remember there's a scene that Joel takes a guy's head and smashes it through a toilet in the game, smashes his whole face through, the whole toilet breaks and everything else. Like, it was brutal, especially for the time when it came out. You didn't see anything like that in video games. Do you think they've got the brutality of this world right?
From what I've heard, this is where I'm gonna have to lean on you and Joe. I know Joe thinks no. I think he thinks that I'd have to, obviously he'll have to talk, and it's 2 years ago that we've talked about this show, because we don't talk between situations. So I feel like the only time that I really feel what I imagine is that level of energy is at the end of the season when he's in the hospital, like just destroying everybody to get Ellie out of there.
Yeah.
That felt like you snapped into the game for a second. You snapped into Joel in the game, and this is your playthrough where you don't die. And Joel's literally going Jack Bauer at the end of a season of 24. Jack Bauer, they hold Jack Bauer back all season in season 24. And at the end of a season, he just goes, they do something to Jack that just makes him break. And then it's like Jack Bauer's in Max Payne, the video game, and he's just like going and destroying everybody. And there's no stopping Jack. You can shoot his head off. He's still coming. It's like Tony Montana and Scarface. And I feel like there's a moment of that at the end of this season when Joel's trying to get her out of the hospital, season 1. But up to that point, I felt like maybe they didn't quite have that right. As someone that's played the game, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the last scene with Joel going in there to save Ellie was perfect. They did that exactly like the game it would feel. And they did a great job that in the video games, I think people get desensitized to the actual violence of, you're doing those, playing video games, playing Grand Theft Auto, hitting people with cars, seeing the body fly around. And you don't realize how bad it is. In this game, they tried to really make you see how bad it is when you're taking these people out, because what they did in the game, especially the second game, is that when you kill a character, there'll be NPCs, other characters, and they'll get upset and say, oh my God, blah, blah, blah is dead. Blah, blah, blah is dead. Come here. Like, that character had a background, right? That character had family members that cared about it. And they brought that into the game, did a great job doing that. So I thought that when they went through this, the brutality that he went, not just to make people just look like random people that no one gives a F about and just someone just dead on the street. You know what I mean? They did a really good job in the game of providing that back context to make you know that even though these people walk around, they do have a family, they do have people that care about them, and they're out there for a reason. So I think they did a great job doing that. And this scene, when he goes through, they showed the brutality and his skill level of killing. Like, you want to see Joel go full Joel, you know what I mean, on him and stuff. And he definitely went full Joel on this 100%. So I think that was great. They did a great job with that scene and everything else. And I thought that was it. But besides that, I don't think they got. I think they watered it down, and they could have done it a little bit better. I thought they watered it down. But one person I think that doesn't get talked about enough in this is the actress who played in the Netflix show. She played in the best Netflix show of all time.
Mindhunters?
Yeah, Mindhunters. Who was his girlfriend from Mindhunters. She was.
Oh yes. She towards the beginning of the season. Yeah, I forgot that was the same actress. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she played her role.
Joel, I'm fucked up. Yeah, in that whole beginning, and from what the first, and I think they did a good job at doing the very beginning of season 1 with everything hitting down, like with the apocalypse breaking out, like all of that created a violence, and I think they did an all right job when Ellie escaped from the yellow jacket people, from the people that were eating people, and and stabbed the fuck out of them. They kind of went there too, because Bella can kind of play that crazy stuff. She did it in Game of Thrones too, like warrior crazy energy stuff. But I agree. I feel like they went more the melodrama, emotional character route rather than having that sort of violent click thing. And I think, no pun intended with the click. And I think what makes this a unique story, it's combining those two things. So I hope they don't get away from it more in this season. And I hope this season is more brutal in some ways.
Yeah, it's got to be. They have to really step it up this season when it comes down to it. And again, I don't just care about a big horde of clickers coming to a place unless they override the whole place. Like, I don't want to see these clickers all come and get shut down, right? If you're going to have a horde of zombies, the horde needs to win in order for it to work. Again, let's talk about it, how it was successful. Game of Thrones, Hardhome. When they had those zombies come to Hardhome, the reason why it was worked and successful was because they won. No matter how much they fought back, they could not stop them. They just kept coming. They had to flee and get out of there. That's what builds the threat. And I think a lot of times in these shows, when you have these hordes, you don't never see them win. You never see them overrun and take everything over and kill everybody and make a couple of people think. And I think that's what they need. Good to see you, Moni G. It seems that's what they really need to do this season. If they want those things to be a threat, and you're going to have a horde, don't throw up a horde and then all of a sudden have people with flame cameras blurring them all and they fight them off and they cheer at the end and wave. Yeah, we did. No. You got to defeat them. Yeah. The horde has to win.
In The Walking Dead, they started like talking about it like wind patrol. You know, it's like, oh, the horde's going that way. We'll go this way. Or we'll use the horde. We'll steer the horde towards these people and using them as forces, but never actually being in trouble with them. We just have to put some smelly salts on ourselves and we can walk with the hordes. We'll take some of the horde's skin and become part of the horde. It's just, no. I want you to die. When we see these things, people need to get ripped apart and die. And not people, characters. I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, when they did it with the black kid and they had him get changed and everything else, that was good. The way they did that, I like the way they did that. They did a good job adapting that and having the black kid turn and Ellie having to fight her way out of that situation. You know, I thought that they did more right than wrong in the first season. That's why we get another season, and that's why I'm excited too. See, Rick said, "Hey, Tony and Phil, I am excited for season 2, 100%.
Can't wait.
I can't wait for it. I'm all about it. I can't wait. We are under an hour away from it jumping off and everything else, and I cannot wait. And I want it to be the best show out there. I'm cheering for this show. Me personally, I don't think the storyline helps it. I think the storyline hurts the show. And it's not the show's fault. It's just the way the game goes. But I just don't think the storyline is going to hold. And I don't see it.
We will talk more. Yeah,
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm usually not.
We got to do a spoiler stream at some point.
Yeah. I'm going to do a video about it. I'll do the review. Then I'll drop another video talking about how I think the show's going to go off the rails and everything else when it's all said and done. And all that, and that's it. Moni in the middle is in the building. Where you at? Is in the building rocking with us and everything else. But good to see everyone. Good to see Jess Britt out here rocking with us too, and everything else with the mushroom risotto.
Yeah.
At least it's not the, what is it? The green bean chili enchiladas from the Doomsday Killer. See, have you been following that trial, Phil? Oh, this lady, she gets up there, the one who killed her family and stuff, killed the kids and all that and everything else. And she's up there and she's interrogating her brother. And her brother's like, I haven't spoken to you in years. She goes, but you don't remember my green chili enchilada, my green chili that I brought for the family? And he was like, no. He goes, I brought it for the last 12 years. And you don't think, because she's her own lawyer. And she's mad at her brother. And he doesn't
remember the enchilada.
He doesn't file for murder. And what she's worried about is that he doesn't remember her green cheese enchilada. She's all upset. You don't know my green chili enchilada? I've been bringing it for 13 years, and you don't remember. All right,
I've been waiting my whole life to get you under oath to ask you these fucking questions about these enchiladas.
She's so upset. She's really upset that he doesn't remember shit. Yeah, green chili chicken enchiladas.
Oh my goodness!
Like she just wanted to be known for this. All right, we'll go back to the last. I'm sorry.
No. We have to examine these enchiladas. No, I'm kidding.
We need to find out what's in these things.
Yeah. I want one now. I gotta see. I gotta experiment them with myself. Oh my goodness.
I mean, you never get that interaction because usually the person defending themselves is never their lawyer.
Yeah.
But since she's her own lawyer, you can see her because she asked him about it. And then he goes, no, I don't remember that. You don't remember them? I've been doing it for 12 years. And you don't remember Rachel?
Only like really fucked up people like Ted Bundy start defending themselves in situations like this.
Exactly. All right, let's go back to The Last of Us and let's continue on. And again, it's hard. It's hard for me. I'm not going to spoil anything. It's hard for me to talk about it without spoiling stuff. Yeah. So once the first episode happens, I'll know exactly what I'll be able to talk about and stuff like that. So we'll have a more better stream probably next week because we'll be able to go into everything else. But right now, it's our expectations for it. Let's go into the chat right now and just say, hey, let's put it out there. Scale of 1 to 10. What do you believe that this season is going to be? Do you think it's going to be perfect? 10? Or do you think it's going to be 1 is garbage, right? So put it in there what you think it's going to fall. Phil, if you had to predict right now, knowing everything that you know about the season, what do you think it's going to be? Scale of 1 to 10. How do you think it's going to pan out?
69, dude. 6.9, 7.5. I think it's going to be very good. But okay, by my ranking, I'm saying that 5 for me is like average good watch type thing. Mm-hmm. 10 is the greatest thing ever. So 5's not a bad score for me. So I would say probably like a 7.5, something like that. To be honest, I joked with 69, but like 7 to 8, depending on a few things. I think we got to also remember we're dealing almost in the same thing as Squid Game season 2, where you're dealing with it's going to feel like half a season or half a Wicked or something like that. Like Wicked Part 1. It's something that should be a whole story that's being split unnaturally in 2 parts. So it's not going to feel complete, right? So it's hard to judge it all unless we look at the 2 seasons. So this is a whole, I would say, without the completion of it, without the conclusion of the story and everything, I would say about like a 7-ish.
Yeah, I think that the season will wind up at a 6.5, but I think that because of the events that happened, but I think that overall, even taking those events into account, I would say it's going to be around 7. I think it's going to be 7. I don't think it's going to heap the praise that it got heaped on the first one, because I don't think there's a moment like that. Again, agendas do push moments, and that moment of the whole, the love scene between those guys, which was amazing. Don't get me. It was amazing. It was amazing to show how they ran into each other. It was amazing to show how they got together and how that they were willing to die for each other. Like one was going to die, and the other one's like, I don't have any life without you. I'm going to die too. Very romantic, right? And very Bonnie and Clyde-ish, or whatever you want to say. And people, tugs on people's heartstrings and emotions and stuff, and all that good stuff, Not that, are they in the house rotting together and they stink like shit when it's all said and done and people go in there and they find 2 dead bodies? 100%. We don't gotta go. we
all shit ourselves when we die, Tony. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, you don't want to have to go into it. As Amy says, Romeo and Juliet. It was a Romeo and Romeo, right? And I understand, and it was great, especially the way it was. You know what I mean? I thought, but I don't see that moment. I see a controversial moment more than that type of moment going on in this. And in the end, when it's all said and done, I just don't think this show can carry on without it. After that happens, I don't think the same level, and I can't say anything because by saying any show that's like it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So I won't. It won't carry on the same when this happens. And I have precedent from show to show who has done this, and it is never the same after they've done it. And I feel it's going to be the same thing here. One of my favorite shows of all time. It didn't work out after. And I just don't think, I think it translates better for a game, but then they switched it up a little bit in the game and didn't translate. But, but in no way, I don't see it at all working. What up? Hey, 2T. Thank you for joining by Red Lipstick Club. She said that story didn't even really exist in the game, did it? Maybe there was another random, seemingly not that trivial character they could spin on. It did. It did exist. They just didn't go into detail like that in the game on that story. You knew that's what was going on, but they didn't have it fleshed out to everything that they did.
Tony, I know we can't talk about it too much.
It was kind of like Earth Abides. That story is like, or if you watched Earth Abides, like you could see that's they probably took it from Earth Abides because Earth Abides came out way before that. But if you look at the story for Earth Abides, it's basically the same thing. The way the people were acting and interacting, and we need to have friends, we need to have all that from Earth Abides, everything from there. Go ahead, Phil.
No, I'm glad because I don't know how to say what I'm going to say without. Because I kind of said it in the private chat that I just typed you because I had to get the thought out because I can't say it out loud. But I agree with you. You can look in the private chat to what I said because I 100% agree with you. And I don't know if the show is going to deal with a lot of something, and it's going to be not a lot, but maybe they can. A lot of it's going to depend on certain actors' performances and how the atmosphere of the show, maybe the use of some non-linear storytelling that maybe change things from the way that the game is told, that may change things up. Who knows? All I know is that Tony and I will be able to talk a lot more about this either next week or after episode 2.
Yeah, around before episodes and everything else. People, please don't put any spoilers in the comment section. If not, the mods will have to whack you and take your comment out of there to make sure that everyone's protected and everything else and all that. This right now is a spoiler-free stream, so please don't spoil anything. You could talk about it in a roundabout way. I'll know what you're talking about. Phil will know what you're talking about, and the people who played the game will know. But let's let everybody enjoy it and figure it out on their own, and let everybody get there. Let's not be toxic Song of Ice and Fire fans. All right, let's not be that. They were the worst. I swear to God, they were the worst. I mean, my grandmother was like that. We used to call her name is Ursula, and my grandfather used to call her Usher Ursula. Like that was his nickname for her. Because every time we watch a movie, she'd be like, and she's seen it. Oh, watch right here. This person's going to get it. Oh, don't close your eyes right now. This ain't the time to do it. Like she was just the usher.
I had a friend growing up, and he did it as a troll. He was like an early like community troll, and he would just go up to you and go, "Oh, have you ever seen the movie The Usual Suspects?" And then he'd be like, "Blah blah 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 blah." Like tell you the end right there. He'd be like, "Okay, now you don't have to see it." Haha. Or have you seen this movie? And he just go around and spoil crap, and you're just like, "What are you doing? Like what's the point?" He's like, "I'm having fun." It's like, okay, yeah.
And that's when I say to him, what did the 5 fingers say to the face? I'm having fun, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm having fun too. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm having more fun.
I'm having fun too. And that's the way it would be. My grandmother is now 101 years old. She just turned 101 years old like last month and stuff. So the usher is still kicking and still doing her thing right now, doing her thing. But yeah, no need for that. Come on, let's everyone experience it for what it is and stuff, and all that stuff and the good thing,
Not that I disagree with what you said, Caleb, but that's beside the point.
100%. And I would say, talking to Daniel in there, I don't know if the second game is a flop. All right, I don't know if we can consider it a flop. It sold a hell of a lot of copies. It was a good game, but again, Daniel, I'm going to talk to you directly, and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's going to be a hard sell when they try to do the transition this season. I don't think it works, me personally. I don't see how. Again, this also has to do with the actress who was casted. I think maybe she's an amazing actress, but physical attributes, I just don't think it's going to work with her in the end. I understand that they wanted the foil to be the same size and all. It's just not going to work in the end. I wish that it would. I really do. I truly do, but I just can't see it when it's all said. Now, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong and everything else.
I'll know, Tony. I'll know if you're wrong, or because Joe's wrong about, because he said almost the same thing in our spoiler stream when there was a couple of actresses that were before the casting, but as we were looking at a couple of people, and he was really pushing to go MMA, professional boxer, professional wrestler route. Mm-hmm. Just like a very charismatic, good young person that has some acting skill, and kind of go in that direction. But you'll know within a few seconds of that person on screen if there's some people that can pull off bigger than they actually are. Al Pacino's one of those people. Like when he's on screen, you believe he's a huge tough person. And Joe Pesci, like if Joe Pesci's on screen, even though he's a little guy, you really believe that dude could kill you. Like especially if you watch Casino or Goodfellas. So I'm going to pass judgment till the person gets on screen. But my instinct from everything I've heard from people that have played the games and everything to do with this character, because I'm less spoiled on this than I am the first game, it's hard for me to imagine that this is going to work from that end. This character, they're going to have to change this character a lot for it to work. And that may take away some of the bite. Yeah. And that's disappointing. She may be, other people may help her achieve her goals rather than her do it herself, which might not be as good. So who knows what it's going to be like, Tony? So I'm with you. I'm a little nervous about the casting too of that.
That's what it was when they did it in the game. It's very controversial, and I understand it's going to be what it is. And as Amy says, the show is going to be good regardless.
Yes,
100%. It's definitely going to be good. It's just up into a point to me. Then we'll see. And how they do it. Do they, does things jump off early or do things jump off at the end of the season? It's all about how the spacing and the flow and everything else goes for it. That's what it was going to come down to when it's all said and done.
Would it be too much of a spoiler?
I will say, as someone, Daniel, as someone who has played the Tron video game when it was in the video game, as someone who used to take light stickers, the light sticks, and tie them and tape them to the back of my Frisbee and throw them around when I was a child. All right. As much as a Tron fan that I really am, I will say that this trailer does look good so far. I need to see the story, but the actual effects itself for the Tron trailer
looks pretty cool.
Look amazing. As for them coming into the real world and everything else, we'll see how that works.
So, is it? No, I can't say it because what I was going to say is, I think the conversation we're talking about here, Tony, we're going to be having not at the end of this season. We're going to be talking about it either after Joe and I are going to be talking about it or talking about it after episode 2. I think that's my speculation. We're going to figure out what kind of season this is within the first 2 episodes. I think episode 1 reestablishes everything. episode 2 gets I was going to say something like a wise ass, but I'm not going to say it. Episode 2 kicks things off.
Yeah.
Like I think episode 2 is what starts the story, but I think tonight is probably going to be. I'm not sure if we meet this particular character tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll meet him. Maybe quick, but nothing big about this character.
No, this is going to be a Joel and Ellie episode.
Joel, Ellie catching up from last season. Blah blah blah. Don't know how great it'll be as an episode overall, like when it comes to excitement and stuff. But I do think that it'll get you vested back into the world, set everything up for where it's at and everything else. Let you know all about that. Bring in the Dean and stuff, all that other stuff. It'll start setting these things up, and then we'll start getting things. And at the end, maybe we get a little bit of drama, and that's what it is. If you want to look at
the hint of it,
if you want to look at a show that actually every episode has been amazing so far, and you haven't watched it, go watch Mobland on Paramount Plus.
Oh, I watched the first episode. The great cast: Pierce Brosnan and Tom Hardy.
Amazing. That show, every episode is amazing on that 100%. Because we're about to jump off here. As for, again, talking about Tron, he said, can Tron make $1 billion? I don't know if it can make $1 billion because I don't know if the fan base is there for Tron. It's not like a Jurassic Park.
Does a Disney ride count too? Like plus the amusement park?
No, Tron was always a niche thing. Even when it came out in the 80s, it was never a popular franchise. It was people who liked that science fiction and liked that old NPC. They were all into it. So I don't know if you can get enough casual audience involved for it to make $1 billion. You know what I mean? That would be the problem with it. Does it deserve it? Probably, if it's a good movie. But I just don't know if it has enough casual audience to get vested into it. You know what I mean? And everything. It's just a niche thing that I just don't know if you can really get people into it. Again, I'll put it to you like this. Black Panther came out. And when Black Panther came out, my grandmother, Usher Ursula, went to go see the original Black Panther. Now, at the time, I don't know exactly how old she was, in her 90s-year-old Jehovah's Witness woman, but it meant enough to her to go and watch Black Panther, right? So I don't know if you can get people like my grandmother to go out and watch Tron. I don't think it has that appeal to that mass audience like that. Jurassic Park is an established franchise that people are going to go out, and all kids love dinosaurs. So they're always, we're going to put feathers on these ones. So I got to see it. You know, so I think that's what it is. I think it's, Tron and Mad Max, it's like above Escape from New York, but not too far from Escape from New York. People feel, I love Escape New York. People tell you, like, it's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my life. The Thing was one of the greatest.
They Live is a great fucking movie. It's right, kind of.
Those movies will never be $1 billion franchises. You just can't make that. You know what I mean? That's just not the way it rolls. All right, people, we're gonna let you go and get ready for the show. And thank you all. I think we had up to 90 people here watching at one point for a first stream. That is amazing. Thank you so much. We will be back talking about this every Sunday. Pre-game show, same time I'll be here. But again, make sure you go to Phil the Issues Guys channel. People, please put his link in the comment section as soon as it's over, because Phil will be there talking live, and I will be joining him from time to time. When I'll be there when Joe can't make it, the Don will come over there and fill in for Joe.
And you can jump on anytime you want, even if you're up and about and feel like jumping in with us. Just let me know, and you're always welcome.
I appreciate it 100%. I want 100%. Oh, listen, call coming in right before we go off there. Let's take this call. This is 868.
Oh, that's KP.
What's going on, KP? You gotta make it quick, baby. We're about to get you back.
Listen, I just saw you guys about to sign off, and I said it's supposed to Tony to sign off without me coming on. Saying good evening and good night to everybody. Tony, Phil, entire chat. Everybody enjoy the show tonight. It's going to be fantastic. And back a little bit late. Correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have a good night. Good to see you.
All right, good to see you. I appreciate it. AP's because he be calling in Julie stream so much he can't really talk anymore.
Yeah, his throat hurts. You know that was the shortest call in KP history.
He'd be on Julie deep dive stream for 3 hours. KP up there shirtless.
Well, like she does those 9-hour streams, so that's like pure content for her. She's like, oh, he can talk for 3 hours. I can actually get a rest. Love you, KP.
Listen, God love everybody in here and everything else. This show is back. We'll be back again. Make sure you check out Phil tonight. He'll be on there doing the after show. I'll be back here next week, but we'll be doing a Yellow Jackets tomorrow. And maybe we'll come back with a Last of Us mid-week stream or something like that. We'll see how we get all the content out there. All right. If you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is.